In today's Behind the Beauty, we're going to be taking a look at my favorite thing in the whole world, and that is Korean beauty. Mainly Korean skincare and how what people thought was once just a trend, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Korean skincare, often referred to as K-beauty, has become hugely popular outside of Korea in the last decade. The growth in its popularity started around 2014, was largely fueled by the rising global interest in K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean culture in general, the Hallyu wave. Social media helped drive this interest with K-beauty's innovative products, unusual ingredients, and multi-step routines, all catching the attention of beauty enthusiasts around the world. This really peaked between 2018 and 2020 when Google searches for Korean skincare reached their height, driven in large part by the viral glass skin trend. Glass skin emphasizes smooth, even, and radiant skin, which resembles the clarity and sheen of glass. And it became a hugely popular trend still to this day, seeing massive engagement, especially over on TikTok and Instagram, with the hashtag glass skin amassing billions of views. And the demand for products promising this look, like hydrating essences and lightweight sunscreens, led to a spike in searches for Korean skincare products globally. Despite reaching its peak in 2020, its surge in popularity has continued to this day, particularly with younger consumers gravitating towards minimal, natural aesthetics like the clean girl aesthetic. These aesthetics promote healthy, glowing skin, which aligns with K-beauty's philosophy of achieving flawless skin through consistent care. So to really deep dive into this topic, I sat down with one of my friends and someone who really did pioneer bringing K-beauty to the rest of the world, Charlotte Cho. Charlotte Cho is a Korean-American entrepreneur, I can never say that word, esthetician, author, and best known for her role in popularizing Korean beauty in the US and globally. She is the co-founder of Soko Glam, a leading online marketplace and retailer of Korean beauty products. Soko Glam has played a significant role in introducing American consumers to K-beauty. Charlotte Cho is also the author of the Little Book of Skincare, Korean Beauty Secrets for Healthy, Glowing Skin. In this book, she really shares her knowledge of the Korean skincare philosophy, emphasizing prevention, hydration, and multi-step routines for maintaining healthy skin. And Charlotte's own background has helped shape her expertise in beauty and skincare. Originally from California, she moved to Seoul, the capital of South Korea, after college, where she developed a deep appreciation for the Korean approach to skincare and beauty. Inspired by what she learned, she went on to train as an esthetician and eventually became a key figure in the K-beauty movement, helping bridge the gap between Korean beauty brands, Korean beauty culture, and Western audiences. In addition to her work with Soko Glam, Charlotte has launched Then I Met You, her own premium skincare line, which she founded in 2018. And this short segment of today's video is very kindly sponsored by Then I Met You. It's incredible, I love it. Charlotte says the brand is an extension of her deep appreciation for Korean beauty rituals and her belief in the importance of thoughtful, meaningful skincare routines. Then I Met You is built around the concept of jeong. I can never say it, I can never really explain what it means, but it's basically a Korean term which describes deep emotional connection, empathy, and care that develops between people or towards things over time, and is often shown through acts of care and kindness. Charlotte incorporates this philosophy into her brand by encouraging consumers to cultivate a deeper relationship with their skincare routine and be more mindful about self-care. The philosophy is meant to emphasize the importance of going beyond the surface to make deeper connections, and Charlotte hopes it will encourage consumers to approach skincare with intention and mindfulness, treating it as a self-care ritual, nurturing rather than a chore. And this emphasis on mindfulness and intention can be seen throughout Charlotte's brand. Then I Met You have won numerous awards and accolades from beauty editors, influencers, and skincare enthusiasts for their effectiveness and their luxurious feel. So obviously we both love Korean skincare. It's often said that it's much better than Western skincare. There's something about the formulations or the products, people think it's superior, and even people who've had really struggled with certain skin conditions say that Korean skincare like saved their skin. What is it, in your opinion, that makes K-beauty so superior? I'm gonna say superior because I think it is.
I mean, you've been a big, fan of Korean beauty for so long, and you've been great at educating people about it. And I also didn't know anything about Korean beauty until I lived and worked there. And that was over 10 years ago. And it was so interesting to me because Korean people in general, they're just savvy. They know exactly what their skin types are. They know what their skin conditions and skin concerns are that they want to focus on. They go to dermatologists not because they have an issue, but because they actually...
It's just a thing to do.
It's hygiene. It's like a general wellness check.
Yeah.
And so their just mindset and philosophy is so different from at least on the American side and what I grew up with, that it has forced the beauty industry to be a lot more focused and driven on innovation. You know, their customer base is so savvy that they cannot pass off like BS products and survive. So they need to be on top of it. They need to be constantly reformulating their products because there's so much competition. That competition fuels innovation. And that's what has been happening for decades and decades in Korea. And then when K-beauty started to become more well-known and popular around the world, when you compare it to different formulations and different brands out in the West, they were just more affordable and accessible, even though they had quality, you know, products. And so I think overall K-beauty has pushed everyone else to be not resting on their laurels, but pushing themselves to be better. And then to your question about people saying like, I've tried everything under the sun, but K-beauty is the only thing that works. I've gotten that comment so many times throughout my history with Soko Glam. And what I've discovered after talking to many manufacturers, many cosmetic chemists, is that in Korea, a lot of people identify with sensitive skin. So there's a lot of yellow dust, pollution, and I don't know what it is, but everyone in Korea identifies as sensitive. So then all the formulations coming out of Korea, they're focused on helping sensitive skin types. That's why the trending ingredients are like Cica. And you know, they're focused on double cleansing with the most gentle ingredients. They're about gentle hydration. Their whole philosophy around acne is not about let's zap it with benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid and dry it out. It's really about, no, your skin barrier needs support, it needs hydration, and it needs to get into a better healthy state, and then your acne is going to diminish. That's why hydrocolloid patches, pimple patches, that literally is the most gentle way to combat acne. It's putting like a sticker on your face, a band-aid.
It's like a coverage.
And it's like, get your dirty fingers away from it. Let it...
As I'm touching my face.
It's like, let it rest. Don't put any crazy ingredients on it to zap it and like dry it out and make it more damage. Let the hydrocolloid do its magic where it pulls away the moisture, lets it heal, and that's how you're gonna get rid of it. Just be patient, you know?
I think that's why I love K-beauty so much, because obviously I got into it because I love Korean culture, but as somebody with rosacea who by that time was testing so many skincare products for YouTube, I didn't realize what I was doing was taking a gentler approach. It was more about like healing rather than attacking kind of thing. I felt like I was taking more precaution rather than dealing with the issue after using high percentage. Prevention. That's the word. What am I trying to say? And I did that without even realizing, just by switching to Korean skincare.
So it's like, not that it's superior, I just think that luckily they've had the right idea because of the people's, you know, interest in skincare and knowledge and making sure they conform and help deliver what people need has led to this. So helped the price be really accessible, affordable. I think it pushes them to be more innovative with their ingredients. They really look towards looking into what's happening in the derm clinics and trying to bring that into skincare to be as effective as possible, because you cannot survive in the Korean beauty industry unless you're literally doing amazing stuff. And when I was working in Korea, it was crazy. Like men and women, they're just like having humidifiers by their desks. They were like getting, you know, they had little laser treatments at lunch. You know, it was like to zap a little dark spot, a mole, and no one bats an eye when you have like 10 pimple patches on one part of your face. Like, I was like, I'm taking care of my skin, leave me alone. You know, like,
I love that though. I wish we had that approach. I
think we're getting there, don't you think?
I think in America, I think in the UK, seeing a dermatologist is still one of the most impossible things. They're really hard to come by. And unless you
have an issue.
If you have a real issue, then you go to the doctor and they'll refer you to dermatologists. But other than that.
Well, you know, I think Americans are paying out of pocket. Like our medical system's crap, so they're just going to private clinics and
sorting it out.
But you guys have an amazing insurance, right?
We do.
Yeah, so then you're probably trying to go through the system, and that's when they want a problem to be there.
Korean skincare is now considered by many to be superior to Western skincare. This perception has come about for a variety of reasons, some of which include, but are not limited to, innovative ingredients. Now, Korean products often use a blend of natural, unique, and cutting-edge ingredients like snail mucin, green tea, ginseng, rice water, fermented yeast, and propolis, Regardless, these ingredients are seen as highly effective for hydration, anti-aging, and soothing the skin. Whilst Western products also use innovative ingredients, they are seen to rely more on heavily conventional ingredients like retinoids, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C, though it's worth considering that some of this perception may be due to Western consumers seeing Korean ingredients as exotic in some way, and just assuming that they are better ingredients than those more commonly found in Western products. Another reason people find K-beauty to be more superior is the emphasis on prevention over treatment. Now, Korean skincare focuses heavily on prevention rather than treating problems after they occur. It's common for Koreans to start their skincare routines at an early age, and there is an emphasis on hydration, sun protection, and building up healthy skin over time. Whereas here in the West, we often target issues like acne, wrinkles, or sun damage after they've developed. Multi-step skincare routines is another possible reason why we find K-beauty routines to work more effectively for us. K-beauty is well known for its extensive multi-step routines, or the options to lead up to a multi-step routine, or the options just to have in your routine. Cleansing, exfoliating, toning, essences, serums, moisturizers, sunscreens, sheet masks, you name it, K-beauty has invented it. Each step is meant to target a different aspect of skincare, providing more comprehensive and, I guess, targeted solutions. Many Western skincare routines tend to be shorter and more focused on fewer multifunctional products, sometimes sacrificing the detailed care and layering that the Korean skincare emphasizes. Another reason I love Korean skincare over Western is the lightweight and hydrating formulas. Korean products tend to prioritize lightweight, hydrating formulas that cater to a wide range of skin types, especially sensitive and combination skin. Products like essences, ampoules, and like watery gel creams are designed to deeply hydrate without being heavy. Western products may focus on like thicker creams and anti-aging treatments that can sometimes feel heavier on the skin. K-beauty often has gentler and more soothing formulations designed to maintain the skin's moisture barrier, which is essential for overall skin health. Korean brands prioritize soothing ingredients like green tea, centella, and aloe vera. Aloe vera has been in Western skincare for ages, but ingredients like centella are fairly new in the West and are ideal for sensitive skin and many different skin types and conditions. Western products, especially those targeting acne and anti-aging, can contain a lot more stronger kind of ingredients and tend to be products that you can't use on a daily basis in comparison to K-beauty. Now, there is much more of a cultural emphasis on skincare in Korea and a cultural emphasis on appearance in general. Skin health is often seen as a reflection of overall well-being, and skincare routines are deeply ingrained in daily life, whereas Western beauty culture is kind of more perceived as placing more emphasis on fillers, plastic surgery, heavier full glam makeup to address skincare concerns or your appearance, rather investing in long-term solutions. Although this perception isn't necessarily true, in fact, the emphasis placed on appearance in Korean culture has led to South Korea having one of the highest rates of cosmetic surgery per capita. It's become one of the plastic surgery capitals of the world and is a popular destination for cosmetic tourism. Now, I'll be honest, if I'm going to go anywhere for plastic surgery, it will be South Korea. But overall, the combination of innovative ingredients, gentle formulations, and emphasis on hydration and prevention, and affordable price makes Korean skincare incredibly appealing to many people and has led to the popular view that it's superior to Western skincare. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Many also consider Korean skincare to be around 10 years ahead of Western brands in terms of innovation. And part of this is due to the fact that Korea generally allows more freedom in types of ingredients used in cosmetics compared to the US. Korea allows a broader range of ingredients to be used in cosmetics, with many naturally derived or innovative ingredients like snail mucin, bee venom, and various fermented extracts being more easily accepted than in the West. I remember when we were first getting like bee venom, I think Nip and Fab were one of the first Western brands to do bee venom, and then snail mucin. You'd always see it in media being like, these crazy ingredients from Asia. What are these crazy Korean ingredients? You know, it was kind of like everyone was in shock about these ingredients, but now they've become a real regular and staple in people's routines. Korea's regulations promote innovation, and as long as products meet safety standards, you're pretty much good to go. This means that Korean beauty brands have become fairly well known for quickly adopting innovative and exotic ingredients. These are often released into the market without any lengthy approval process that might occur in the US, where the regulations tend to be more conservative around new cosmetic ingredients. This is in part because Korea distinguishes between general cosmetics and functional functional cosmetics. Functional cosmetics, which includes products for whitening, wrinkle improvement, and UV protection, are subject to stricter regulations and require pre-market approval. But general cosmetics are less tightly regulated pre-launch and are only looked into more thoroughly if they are shown to cause issues after the product has been released. Don't worry though, this doesn't mean that Korean products are unsafe in any way whatsoever. They just prefer to focus on monitoring products more heavily after release rather than restricting the innovation of new ingredients before they enter the market. The difference largely comes down to innovation versus caution. Korea emphasizes promoting innovation within a framework of safety, whilst the US focuses more on limiting potentially risky ingredients from the outset. There's also more of a focus on skincare over makeup, or they kind of play both hand in hand and are as equally as important as each other. The goal is to achieve naturally glowing, healthy skin, which reduces the need for heavier makeup. While skincare is still seen as important, makeup often takes center stage in Western beauty routines, with a heavier emphasis on concealing skin imperfections rather than focusing on deep skincare maintenance.
Yeah. So why do you think, I saw a comment on TikTok that really pissed me off the other day, and they were like, it was a whole video, and they were like, I knew K-beauty wouldn't work because it's so cheap. It's so cheap, like how can it be good? Obviously we know cheap doesn't equal lesser, but what do you think it is that makes K-beauty so affordable? How do they do it?
I think it's honestly competition.
They could just price it lower because they want to be...
I've seen this many times in Korea. Korea is like a very competitive market because there's not enough population for companies to grow past the limit if they're just catering to their community. So Korea is always, because we don't have any natural resources in Korea, you know, it's not like a oil-rich nation or, you know, so Korea has to manufacture or create something and bring it out to the rest of the world in order for them to thrive. So electronics, they make the biggest ships. They're amazing at construction, so they go around the world making the world's tallest buildings. Cosmetics, they have to have a great like export business. So cosmetics, entertainment is considered an export, and so they know that they're really good at making stuff and bringing it out to the rest of the world. And that's how they survive as an economy. And that's why they're one of the fastest growing economies in the world. And they used to be third world country status. And then they were able to pull themselves out of that. But knowing that you can't just make something and make it for themselves. You gotta bring it out there.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I knew like they had a lot of really big exports, but I didn't realize it was so...
Yeah, it's not just beauty.
Technology I got, actually. I don't think I own a single bit of Korean technology, actually.
Oh, really?
No,
No Samsung TV? No. You never done Android?
I have to change up? No. I tried once.
It's been getting really good in terms of like washer dryers, TVs and everything.
Once they perfect that flip phone without the crease in the middle, I'll get one.
I saw Apple's creating one though.
God.
I know.
That's it. I'll be forever Apple now.
Let's not forget how affordable and accessible K-beauty is too. Korean skincare brands offer a wide range of affordable options without compromising the quality. Now, this accessibility makes it easier for consumers to experiment with different products and develop a customized skincare routine. While there are also affordable options in the West, many high-end products with advanced formulations can be quite expensive. And what I will say from personal experience is whilst drugstore products are amazing, you can often find nicer formulated products for the same price in K-beauty than you can like CVS or Boots, for example. That's my personal opinion.
As Korean beauty has grown across the world, I've kind of noticed that Western media can be a little bit clickbaity, almost use K-beauty as like this gimmicky, almost like crazy. I wrote an example of like weird Korean beauty products to get Korean women's perfect skin. And they make like this clickbaity, almost like, it's hard to explain, like fetishization of Korean women and Koreans in general in order to set like snail mucin, for example. There's like this crazy new ingredient, which isn't that crazy. How does it feel as a Korean American to see kind of both sides of the situation where they're making this really like scientific, you know, what am I saying? Like scientific, you know, thing into some weird clickbaity, like, oh, it might work. It's just a fun gimmicky. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I'm very easygoing.
I don't care.
I don't know. So for me, in the Soko Glam journey 12 years ago, as I said, no one knew what K-beauty was, and then now I've seen that it's actually just kind of fun to see how fast the US embraced Korean beauty, because literally when I started Soko Glam, people around me thought it was a horrible idea. They're like, people are gonna buy products they've never heard of and things online, because we're an online store, that they never touched and felt and smelled, and like, you think people are gonna buy these. It's hard to remember this, but like 12 years ago, people were afraid to put their credit card details
Yeah.
online to buy
Oh
things.
my god, trying to get my mum to buy me something online. You couldn't.
Yeah, because they're like, is this a credible site?
Yeah,
Like,
there'd have
my
to be a padlock in the little corner. Do you remember that? Like to show it was approved safe.
yeah, so that was 12 years ago. That's not a long time ago. That's when Soko Glam started. So I don't know how it was in the UK, but in the US, it was like you buy things that are part of the L'Oreal or Estee Lauder group, or like the tried and true names like Lancome, and so these new names like Misha and like Skin Food, like
Yeah.
it wasn't fun at that time to discover and explore indie brands. There were no indie brands really.
Yeah.
So that time, if you put your mindset in that time and think about how people were willing to embrace K-beauty quite rapidly. They were willing to be educated and change their lifestyle. Like people who never washed their face were washing it twice. I was shocked at how people embraced it. And it was quick. Like Soko Glam really grew quickly because people were willing to change their habits. And people were like, how are you gonna make this work? Like you're changing an entire lifestyle. That's hard to do for
it's
culture.
true.
I feel like clickbait articles are just part of our future and
check
our
out
present.
the title of this video.
I mean, we're thrown so much stuff, and that's the way people get
Yeah.
engaged and learn about it and
I
talk
call it
about
clickbait
it.
to educate.
Yeah,
Is what it is.
see?
Trademark. It's not. But no, I agree.
Even like the Tensa skincare routine, I coined the Korean Tensa skincare
have to
routine.
talk about that.
And it was like, I talked about how when I lived in Korea, I learned that there were 10 steps that you can use and you can pick and choose. But then of course the article ran as the Korean Tensa skincare routine. And the editor like brought it out at me. She's like, so you mean, like, what do you mean by 10 steps? I'm like, it's like a Korean Tensa skincare routine. And then it grew to be like, you must use 10 steps because that's like how it was interpreted through the title.
And now every dermatologist hates it.
You know what? It stuck. People
Yeah.
talked about it. It was an educational moment and going like, what? 10
You
steps?
get essences, sheet masks,
Yeah.
like 2 steps, even cleansing balms.
Yeah.
3 steps
Yeah.
that people hadn't heard of before.
Yeah.
Pretty much, well, weren't
Yeah.
massively popular here.
It
that
got
like
the
people are
com-
excited to use, basically.
And it got the conversation started. And will people stick by a 10-step skincare routine? Probably not, mostly. I know people who still swear and die by it, but it got people talking. And they're like, oh, I feel like it's harmless. You know, people are like, oh, 10-step, and they talk about with a friend over brunch, and they're like, well, I mean, I use a double cleanse for sure, but like, I can't do a sheet mask every day.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
go, well, sunscreen's an essential. And so like, people will pick and choose, but then yes, will they see results if they've never really took care of their skin and suddenly layered hydration,
Right, yeah.
you know, cleanse thoroughly, put on a sheet mask once in a while, they're gonna see results. That's why it went viral and it never went away. And derms started hearing about it because it's not a fad, because it actually works.
Yeah.
And people will see results. And it's like taking care of your gut health. Like you drink a certain amount of smoothies, you work out, and you're gonna see results, and you're gonna keep doing it because it works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I'm okay with it.
The 10-step Korean beauty routine has become famous in recent years, more infamous amongst dermatologists, in large part due to its popularity on social media. This really came from an interview with Charlotte Cho, where Charlotte actually meant to stress the 10 possible skincare steps that you can do in your skincare routine. And Charlotte wanted to introduce these new and exciting products that we didn't necessarily use in the West. Sure, we had serums, we had astringents, we had cleansers and moisturizers. The double cleanse was pretty much unheard of. Serums and ampoules gained in popularity. Essences came out of nowhere. Sheet masks especially became popular. And people got a whole new love for sunscreen because of this 10-step Korean skincare routine. Now, these aren't 10 steps that you're supposed to do. These are 10 steps that are available to you. And really what this is designed to do is to promote glowing, healthy skin through a layered and more methodical, personalized approach to your skincare routine. Each step serves a unique purpose in addressing various skin conditions or concerns like hydration, anti-aging, and protection, of course. So let's quickly go through the 10-step routine. You have your oil cleanser, which is supposed to remove makeup, excess sebum, not only that, but like pollutants. Then your water-based cleanser to remove any dirt, sweat, whatever, a deeper cleanse. Exfoliation, of course, to remove dead skin cells, done once or twice a week. A toner, of course, to help hydrate your skin and encourage your other products to absorb better into the skin. An essence is like a lightweight hydrating treatment that nourishes the skin and promotes repair. A serum or ampoule, targeted treatment for specific issues like wrinkles, dark spots, acne, etc. Number 7 could be a sheet mask. These tend to be overall hydrating masks, but they do offer other serum-like properties as well. Eye creams to, of course, help with whatever concern you have under the eyes. A moisturizer to help moisturize the skin. And then your 10th step, a sunscreen in the morning, protects the skin from harmful UV rays. Overall, there is an emphasis on maintaining hydration, youthful, glowy skin, and a dewy complexion. I mentioned that the 10-step K-beauty routine is kind of infamous amongst dermatologists, and there are reasons why they may be concerned about everybody doing a 10-step Korean skincare routine, despite no one actually telling you should be doing 10 steps. There are some potential issues. First issue could be an overload of products. Basically, using too many products can sometimes lead to irritation on the skin, sensitivities, especially for people with sensitive skin. Layering multiple products with active ingredients such as retinol or acids can cause adverse reactions if not used carefully. There is an issue for pretty much any normal, average, everyday person when it comes to the time and the cost of these routines. The routine is time-consuming and can be expensive, given the number of products that are involved, making it unsuitable for those without the budget and without the time. Bearing in mind, this is just a trend, it's not really what is being done, so no one really has to be doing this. And of course, there are some sustainability concerns as well. With the use of sheet masks and an array of packaging from different products, the routine can generate a lot of waste, and this has raised concerns over its environmental impact, especially regarding single-use items and non-reusable eye patches. There is of course a skin barrier issue here. Overexfoliation, excessive use of products that contain actives can damage the skin's natural moisture barrier, leading to dryness, redness, and breakouts. And you'll often find a lot of people make these videos that, you know, my skin was fine before I started a 10-step routine, or my skin was fine before I started skincare, and that's usually because they've gone in with too much too soon. And overall, personalization, whilst it is a good thing, it may also be a bad thing. The routine may not be for everyone. Skin types differ, and a one-size-fits-all approach may not work for you. It's essential that you adapt any routine based on your skin type, specific concerns, and how your skin reacts to various products.
Talk about a few, not issues, but I guess like, because obviously when you are reaching so global, there's going to be a few cultural differences.
Absolutely.
And I think when I first started K-beauty, I think there was a few things that I guess shocked me in the first place was the terminology used. Whitening, brightening, lightening. And I think as I was sharing that on my channel as well, that kind of concerned other people as far as like, oh, so they just all want white skin? Is this going to make your skin whiter? All that kind of stuff. I mean, what do you have to say on that topic?
Oh yeah, it's been an issue since the very beginning because at the end of the day, they're Korean beauty brands, Korean people are not perfect. They're used to very homogenous society with like basically one skin tone. And so they are not familiar with it. And so as they have high aspirations of going to the US, and like I said, when Soko Glam first started, they were not even ready at all. They were so not confident, but then their products are amazing. And I would kind of tell them, oh, I'd love to bring this. I think this would be great. And I would actually coach them 12 years ago and say, but I cannot carry this product because it has this term that I don't agree with. And I think that you need to fix this. And so they would actually be very open to feedback. And I'd be shocked. Sometimes these are small brands that I get, like, it's like such a small brand, they have no resources, and I would help correct them, and they'd be very willing, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that, because we didn't realize that. And then, because when they say things like lightening or whitening, they actually mean brightening.
That's what I always had to explain, and obviously it's very obvious why people get confused about that, but
it's like they use a thesaurus, and they're like, what's the most powerful way to say brightening? They probably got whitening as a result on Google or something. You'd be shocked. I worked at Samsung, you know, doing PR. You'd be shocked that even Samsung, a huge corporation, they would have the most craziest typos and the craziest like mistakes, and I would have to like go fix it. And it's just like, it's just a matter of like ignorance. They like really don't know and realize it doesn't occur to them because they're just in a homogenous society and they don't know the nuances of words. And I don't think that's an excuse. I think that if you're gonna be a global brand, you cannot make these mistakes and you have to educate yourself. So that is an excuse. From my experience thus far, they've been very readily like sensitive to it and then immediately correct and apologize. And it's about education. So I'm always there to support brands to be like, I'm not creating that because of X, Y, and Z. But it's funny because it's not like there is whitening. There's never bleach in their products.
It's never.
They're very about gentle and hydration. They would never put like hydroquinone in your products. It's like just a thesaurus kind of thing.
That being said, tone-up creams. I think it's something that shocked a lot of, because I accidentally bought one, not knowing what it was. I did like a haul. And when I tried it, I was like, what is this?
It's even too bright for me.
And so a lot of people then like, again, this is a whitening product.
Because it creates this like pearlized effect that's almost like...
But I was thinking, is that purely because their default target audience
is
light skin, right? Lighter skin tone. Again, with that being said, I think we were talking about TirTir earlier, who are doing an amazing job pushing the boundaries as far as like the cushions and the colors that they're coming out with. And you know, a lot of people in the comments are either 50-50 about whether or not a brand based in Korea who cater to a Korean audience who are primarily, you know, for skin tones and anything apart. There's a lot of discourse as to whether they need to be catering for a sheer amount of skin tones if their main audience are Korean. Does that make sense? So when people are like, oh my god, this brand doesn't have enough skin tones, some people's reply is, well, that's because they're a Korean brand based in Korea. You aren't their target audience. What's your opinion on that?
So I honestly think that if the brand is focused on the Korean market, you can't fault them for only making shades for their target audience. But yeah, if they're like TirTir and they have aspirations and a community to service that is actually interested in their products, then you do have a responsibility to have more offerings. So I just think it's a matter of, is the brand what's their strategy? And I think you have to pay a little bit of attention to what their strategy is and understand where they're coming from, because they literally can't be everything all at once. You have to give them time, especially if they are a Korean brand. I think they get I feel like there should be a little bit of credit given to the fact that like they aren't in the US. If they're in the US, they must definitely think about the community at large there. But in Korea, I think that it's hard to be everyone and everything. Honestly, you don't know, even though they're a huge company, part of a huge company, you don't know what their strategy is. I'd be shocked. Like, I'd be like, this brand is perfect for the US. Let me talk to them and let me reach out to them after I fall in love with their products. And they're like, we're not ready. We barely have any, resources for X, Y, and Z. And I'd be like, really? You're part of this huge company? They're like, yeah, we are already targeting Indonesia, or like they have their own strategy. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, we don't even have people to. We get emails and requests from editors in the US. We don't even have anyone that speaks English on the team. And I'd be like, oh wow. Yeah, I think that there has to be a little bit of understanding, and when you kind of make an assumption about a brand, I think it's hard because you really don't know the behind the scenes story. Although that isn't an excuse for everything, and I think there is a valid, opportunity to call it out when you feel it's wrong. But yeah, it's hard to be in everyone's shoes, right? Like you don't know exactly what's going on, and a lot of people do make assumptions. Sorry, it's a very long-winded way of being like, you have to pick.
Depends where you are.
I kind of see both sides, I guess. I have to say one thing about the TirTir cushions. I think that TirTir cushions are amazing. I love the fact that they expanded their shade range and they're doing so well, because that cushion is already very popular in Asia, and I love how they went full range. I mean, I feel like they're probably even produced more. I wish that had sunscreen though.
Oh, I know.
But sunscreen filters are going to change the way the formula sets on your skin, especially if you're trying to bring it into the US, which, as we know, sun filters in Korea a lot of them are not allowed in the US and maybe UK. I noticed, I was like really excited about TirTir. I have one, and I was like, oh dang it, it doesn't have the sunscreen. And that's why I'm a cushion girl for life. I've been using it ever since I went to Korea. Every day I use it, and it needs the SPF. Because you got to reapply your SPF while you put on this nice sheer coverage and touch up. So anyway.
Oh, they'll get there. They'll get there, I'm sure.
Let's talk more about TirTir. Many people wonder, if TirTir are able to launch so many different shades so quickly, then why can't every other Korean brand? Well, there's a few reasons why. Charlotte made a great point about the lack of sunscreen in TirTir's cushions, and this is a key reason as to how and why the brand are able to develop so many shade ranges in such a limited amount of time. A traditional cushion foundation usually contains an SPF rating of SPF 30+, but this is missing from all of TirTir's cushions. So by removing the SPF from their cushions, TirTir bypass lengthy registration and approval processes, which could slow down the release and formulation of darker foundation shades. This also saves them a ton of money, as creating an SPF and getting it approved as a sunscreen is very, very expensive, money of which they're able to reinvest into creating more shades. And whilst formulating darker shades isn't as hard as brands will have you believe, by removing the sunscreen filters, they've also eliminated the potential ashiness of the foundation, which means they don't have to consistently reformulate to counteract the ashiness of the mineral sunscreen filters. To Westerners on the surface, TirTir are pretty new to us. They appear to be a new brand who have been able to pump out these countless new shades in such a limited amount of time, mostly relying on feedback from TikTok creators and their consumers, when really the this was all part of TirTir's long-term strategy. What you may not know is that TirTir have been extremely popular and successful in Asia for some time, and with the money created by their success in Asia, mainly Japan, they were able to plan a way to dominate the Western market. In an interview with Teen Vogue, global business manager for TirTir Layla Kim and global business director Rae-hee Lim shared that their goal for the longest time has always been to become the most inclusive Korean foundation. Kim and Lim tell Teen Vogue that before collaborating with the black content creators who really helped popularize their foundation, they already had a plan to launch the darker shades, but saw the feedback coming from these creators as a great way to not only collaborate with these TikTokers, but also promote their new products. And whilst they genuinely are listening to consumer feedback, these shades had already been in the works for a while now. But when a creator shares that they can't find their shade, when the video becomes viral, this creates a perfect opportunity for TirTir to launch that specific pre-made shade. Don't get me wrong though, TirTir are listening to consumer feedback and probably one of the best brands doing so at this time, specifically when it comes to undertones, oxidization of their foundations, and what shades consumers feel are missing from their range. TirTir listen to this and have a formulation ready to go that can be tweaked. Colorism has been a long-standing issue in many parts of the world, and it plays a significant role in the beauty industry, including in Korean skincare. Despite being widely recognized for its innovative products, certain aspects of the Korean beauty industry have sparked controversies, especially regarding colorism and promotion of certain beauty ideals. A major example of this is that many Korean skincare products were labeled as whitening or brightening, which has raised concerns about colorism. In Korean beauty, the term whitening often actually refers to skin brightening or tone evening properties. These products are formulated to reduce hyperpigmentation, sunspots, and blemishes rather than literally whitening or lightening the skin color. However, the language used around whitening reinforces a problematic cultural ideal that associates fair skin with beauty, wealth, and status. The use of terms like whitening in marketing can perpetuate colorism by implying that lighter skin is more desirable. This issue isn't limited to Korea, but reflects a broader global trend, especially in Asia, where fair skin has been idolized historically. Although brands are slowly shifting their language to terms like brightening or radiance, the legacy of these whitening products still carries a significant social weight, particularly in how beauty is perceived. Tone-up creams are also a popular product in Korean skincare. These creams are designed to provide an instant brightening effect by creating a lighter appearance on the skin surface. While they can give a glowing, radiant look, they also play into colorist standards by often making the skin appear visibly lighter. The controversy surrounding tone-up creams stems from the fact that they essentially promote an aesthetic that values lighter skin. Whilst these products are marketed for brightening, their use often makes darker skin tones appear lighter, contributing to a societal preference for lighter skin. For people with naturally darker complexions, the underlying message can feel exclusionary or imply that lighter skin is preferable. In addition to this, the lack of diversity in foundation shades in Korean beauty is a major point of contention. Historically, many Korean beauty brands have catered primarily to lighter skin tones, which are more common in Korea. Foundations, BB creams, and cushions are often only in a few shades, such as light beige or ivory, which makes it difficult for individuals with medium or dark skin tones to find suitable products. That includes even myself, who is more towards the lighter skin tone, but still has some pigment in me. Even the darker shade of like natural beige leaves a white cast. The exclusionary practice has been criticized, particularly as Korean beauty gains popularity worldwide. Consumers from different ethnicities and backgrounds often find that they cannot use many Korean beauty products because they are not made for deeper skin tones. This lack of inclusivity reflects a broader issue in global beauty, where certain skin tones, particularly darker ones, are underrepresented and underserved. While some brands like TirTir, for example, are beginning to expand their shade ranges, the progress has been slow, and many brands still offer limited options, reinforcing the idea that beauty standards in Korea predominantly favor lighter skin tones. The preference for fair skin in Korea is deeply rooted in history. Traditionally, fair skin was associated with the upper class, as it indicated a life spent indoors, away from manual labor, under the sun. Over time, this has evolved into a cultural beauty ideal where lighter skin symbolized purity, wealth, and refinement. This preference has been perpetuated by modern media, where fair-skinned models and celebrities really dominate advertisements, TV shows, shows and movies, and the beauty standards often promoted by the Korean beauty industry mirror these ideals, reinforcing the notion that lighter skin is desirable. These ideals can negatively, of course, impact self-esteem, promote insecurities in individuals with darker skin tones. But as Korean beauty products have gained international popularity, these ideals have come under greater scrutiny. Consumers from diverse ethnic backgrounds have increasingly raised concerns about the lack of inclusivity in terms of shade ranges and the problematic marketing of whitening products. This global criticism has led to some Korean beauty brands to reconsider their approach. Now, as mentioned, some brands have responded by expanding foundation shade ranges or using less problematic language in their marketing. Instead of whitening, many products now emphasize on terms like brightening or glow or radiance to shift the focus from skin color and tone to skin health and luminosity. Many critics argue that more systematic changes are needed, such as embracing diverse models and creating products that cater to a wider range of skin tones. The slow progress in achieving shade diversity in Korean skincare makeup products is influenced by a combination of cultural, market-driven, and logistical factors. Again, a large part of this is due to Korea's long-standing beauty ideals, which have historically favored fair skin. But on top of that, while there are people with naturally tan, darker skin in Korea, they are a minority, and the market continues to cater for the majority's preferences. But I'm not saying that's right at all. But for many brands, creating darker shades isn't seen as a necessity for their domestic market. Brands have traditionally not felt the economic pressure to expand their shade ranges. With the globalization of K-beauty, these brands are now facing demand from more diverse markets in countries such as the United States, Europe, and Africa, where consumers come in a broader spectrum of skin tones. But expanding these shade ranges is not a simple process and comes with logistical challenges that have contributed to the slow progress in improving shade diversity. Developing makeup that works for a broad range of skin tones, particularly darker ones, requires additional time and expertise. Makeup for darker skin tones needs to address different undertones, red, blue, yellow, olive, etc. And not all formulas easily translate to deeper shades without appearing ashy or cakey, as we've learned from many other brands who made many mistakes this year. And extensive research and testing are required to ensure that products match the undertones correctly and the textures of various skin types and tones. This process involves collaboration with diverse models and consumers, which requires a level of commitment to inclusivity that K-beauty brands have unfortunately been reluctant to show until recently. Another major factor is that Korean beauty is primarily known for its skincare products, and the focus has traditionally been more on developing innovative skincare than makeup. Many Korean consumers prioritize having healthy, glowing skin rather than heavily relying on makeup, leading to a market where skincare products dominate, and makeup shades have been an afterthought, really. In the international market, foundations and color cosmetics are more prominent, like people rely on them a lot more. But since many K-beauty brands rely heavily on their skincare lines for revenue, they may be slower to invest in diverse makeup offerings. Additionally, focusing on few shades that cater to the majority of their local market can seem more economically viable than launching a broader range of shades, which may not sell as well locally. Now, despite these challenges, there are indications that the industry is slowly evolving. The rise of social media has amplified voices advocating for diversity, putting additional pressure on brands to be more inclusive and helping speed up its process. Finally, recognizing the potential for growth in international markets. Now, some companies have started investing in research and development to create products that cater for a wider audience, but there is still a lot of work to be done.
Let's talk about the sunscreen scandal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that really knocked a lot of K-beauty fans. People lost a lot of trust for K-beauty because one of the most important steps in the skincare routine didn't work.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of a long time ago, though, like 2 years ago.
A very long time ago. Well, lockdown kind of time, right?
Yeah, COVID-y times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was definitely like, even for us at Soko Glam, we're like, we reached out to all of our brands and we're like, give us proof, third-party proof that your products. And I think it was bad because it was one facility, one manufacturer that was not doing the testing correctly. So it did impact more than one brand.
Yeah.
So then it felt like, okay, this is an issue for the entire K-beauty. And I'm glad that that came to light, and I'm glad it got fixed. Overall, I think it's bounced back.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like some of the brands, like Purito, I believe is one of the brands
Yes,
that was affected. I feel like they reformulated and course corrected, and now there doesn't seem to be an issue.
They were really good. They were so open with everything. They posted all the results of
Yeah.
everything. And I feel like I see people on TikTok sometimes use a sunscreen, and if they've been using K-beauty for a long time, I hear the odd comment from them like, I'm not sure, like this is maybe a bit too light. So there's that mistrust that if the formulation is so good, it
Oh,
can't possibly
yes.
be protecting them.
Yes, I know, and I totally get it, and I understand that concern. I think overall there's going to be mistakes that happen along the way for sure. So you do have to be cognizant, especially when you're expecting a product to work as a drug, because sunscreen is considered a drug. It's an OTC product. It has to get a certain level of testing, which costs a lot of money, by the way, to get things tested. Every time you create a new batch, it goes through the same testing because it's a drug. You have to make sure it's effective in protecting your skin. I hope that we're able to bounce back from this, but I think actually the biggest concern I have, rather than like our Korean manufacturers making the best sunscreen to protect your skin, my biggest concern is actually counterfeit now. Because Korean beauty is exploding. It's now globally popular. Like, it's not just popular in Korea now, it's popular in US, it's popular in Europe. So there's so much counterfeit activity where people can redo the product, and it's so easy to replicate, honestly. And then they'll put it on channels like Amazon, and then people will buy it thinking it's a real thing, and then they'll put it on their skin every day thinking they're getting protected, and they're not. Soko Glam just posted a reel about the UV camera.
Oh, yes,
Using one of the sunscreens that is very popular on Soko Glam. And then there was a customer that reached out to us that said that, like, they tried this product, it didn't feel right, they've been using it for years. So they knew there's a little bit of something that was off. We tested it on a UV camera, and one was completely showing the coverage, and one side was lotion. It was not even showing like that. You know, it'll show the black if it has UV. I think that's actually a bigger concern than is a Korean manufacturer going to mess up. I think they're a little bit more cautious now because of that whole incident. Now it's a counterfeit.
And it's so easy to get. TikTok Shop, Amazon, Temu. I bought for a video. I bought a load of counterfeit K-beauty.
Exactly. So you just have to go to a credible source, trusted source that is not going through third party, or you don't know who the real original seller is. And I've had brands, last year when I went to Korea, I went and I always meet a lot of our top brands, and one of the top brands we carried, who's very well known for sunscreen, I said, oh, how did you get this product into Amazon? Because your sun filters, I know, are not, you know, that's why Soko Glam doesn't carry it. Right. Soko Glam, one of the reasons why we don't curate some top Korean sunscreens is that we go the official channel, we import everything into the US, and we are not allowed to bring a lot of these sunscreens. So then when I see a lot of these Korean sunscreens selling on Amazon, I'm like, I would ask them directly, like, how did you get it in? Did you change the formula? Like, is it now approved for US? Because we would love to curate it. And they're like, don't buy it there, that's not us. They said they email Amazon all the time, like, take this down, this is not us. And then they would buy it and test it, and it wouldn't be their formula. It's crazy. It's more, and I'm like, are you serious? And I actually posted on my stories, like, beware, don't buy this on Amazon, because they just told me that those are all fake.
And it's so easy to buy.
It's so easy to buy. But and there are some credible places where they'll ship, the way they bypass the sunscreen regulation in Korea is like they'll ship it directly from Asia.
Okay, right.
You know, like it's not going through the official FDA port that will cross-check and make sure all the, ingredients are approved.
It's terrifying because it's always the easiest place to get them as well. Amazon, next day delivery, TikTok Shop, so easy to do, you know. So people are doing that rather than going to credible places to buy it.
The Korean sunscreen scandal reversed to a major controversy back in 2020 and early 2021 surrounding the efficacy of several popular Korean sunscreens and regarding the SPF rating claims. Now, the scandal erupted when independent testing revealed that many sunscreens were providing significantly less sun protection than advertised, and this led to like a widespread panic and distrust of certain Korean sunscreens and raised concerns about product regulation and testing standards. So here's a bit more of a breakdown of what actually happened. The controversy began in December of 2020 when Inky Coda, a cosmetic ingredients website, and several European testing labs published reports that Purito Centella Green Level Unscented Sun, one of the most popular sunscreens in the Korean beauty industry at the time, was providing far less protection than its advertised SPF 50+ rating. Independent lab tests suggested the sunscreen's actual SPF was closer to 19, far below the claimed value. This revelation sparked further independent testing of other popular Korean sunscreens that honestly all felt too good to be true, like they were all a bit too light, such as Klaire's Soft Airy UV Essence and Keep Cool's Soothe Bamboo Sun Essence, many of which also show significantly lower SPF values than was advertised. The scandal really triggered widespread outrage amongst consumers, especially those who had trusted these brands for sun protection for an extended period of time. Korean beauty products had a strong following globally, especially among skincare enthusiasts who really value K-beauty's reputation for innovation and effectiveness. And and many consumers felt betrayed, put into a dangerous situation, leading to a wave of negative reviews, refund requests, and product recalls. The controversy also sparked discussions on social media platforms, beauty forums, and in the media about the importance of transparency in product testing and labeling. Many consumers began to question the credibility of other sunscreens and even broader categories of skincare products. Korean beauty brands, which had been enjoying increasing popularity worldwide, now face serious reputational damage as a result of this scandal. Perito, Claire's, and other brands implicated in the controversy issued apologies, pulled their products from the market, and promised to improve their formulation and testing process. A significant part of the scandal revolved around regulatory gaps in how SPF values are tested and verified in South Korea. Unlike other countries, South Korea allows brands to outsource testing to third-party labs, which may not always follow stringent guidelines or may conduct tests under conditions that don't accurately reflect real-world usage. Additionally, some labs in Korea were found to rely on in vitro testing, which could lead to discrepancies in SPF results. And this raised questions about the robustness of the SPF certification process and how closely Korean regulators were overseeing these practices. The Korean government and beauty industry were prompted to take a closer look at how sunscreens are tested and certified. In response to the scandal, some reforms were proposed, such as stricter testing requirements and more oversight of third-party labs. Many brands voluntarily submitted their products for international testing to verify SPF claims and rebuild trust with consumers. The Korean sunscreen scandal was a major wake-up call for both consumers and the beauty industry. It really exposed the limitations of current testing and regulatory practices and damaged the trust many consumers had in some of the most popular K-beauty brands. Although most of the brands involved in the scandal have taken steps to rectify the situation through things like reformulation and improvement in testing their products, the controversy emphasized the need for greater transparency, stricter testing standards, and better regulatory oversight in the beauty industry as a whole, especially when it comes to products like sunscreen, where consumer health and safety are literally at risk. This incident also fueled a broader discussion in the beauty industry about the need for almost like a global alignment on sunscreen testing standards. Different countries have different testing methods, which can result in varying SPF claims for the same product. The scandal demonstrated that international consumers who trust Korean products expect higher standards and transparency. Now, I don't want to talk too much about this and what happened from here because I have a separate video planned for this whole scandal, but now K-beauty brands are being much more transparent. A lot of brands, when they launch new sunscreens, you'll find that they actually release their independent testing, not just from labs in Korea, but also based in the US and in Europe, just to show that they're testing on a much broader scale in an attempt to prove that their sunscreens are safe and accurately represent what SPF they are.
So we touched on it a little bit, but what do you think are the main differences between skincare cosmetics you'll find in Korea versus the UK and the US? What sets Korean skincare apart?
I think it would have to be their accessibility and affordability, quality formulas at great prices, and then it really is the unique ingredients, whether it's snail mucin, whether it's Sika or different types of PDRN, like that is coming out and really popular, salmon sperm on your skin. So they're really inventive in what they're bringing out, and they're not afraid to take risks. And then I think delivery systems, like cushion compacts. Still 1 in every 2 people in Korea have cushion contact. So that hasn't really taken off yet, but I think it will eventually. And we've seen like some things like TirTir cushion compact. I think that that cushion delivery system really makes your skin look airbrushed, and it's like lightweight and great for reapplying sunscreen. So those types of things are very unique and different. And not just different, but they actually really work well.
They work better than other,
And I really credit Korean Beauty for creating and getting other brands and other American and Western brands to push the envelope in terms of delivery systems too, and take risks there and create different categories as well. And then I think that Korean skincare is definitely just gentle. Compared to American Western, they don't really focus on acids.
True.
It's only a trend now because they realize that people in the West like it. But they've never been amazing at formulating acid-based products like acid toners. That was never their jam. And then retinol, it's not that easy.
Freaking out of retinol. I was like, wait, what? I was like, can you retinol?
Iope is a brand that created the first retinol in Korea, and that's just been a very niche thing though. It's not something that a lot of people use, but it is the most popular retinol in Korea, but it's not like everyone is comfortable using that. And then also the retinol and vitamin C, when I create products with Korean manufacturers and cosmetic chemists, they're not as well versed. So that was something that I thought was really interesting, because in the West, that's everyone's about it.
Yeah.
But then I do love when Korean cosmetic chemists do it, because they have such a gentle approach to it. And I love the way that they handle that formulation, because it is all about complementary ingredients. It's not just about that one singular ingredient, but how do you pair it together?
The biggest percentage main ingredient.
Yeah.
It's more about the whole formulation.
Yeah. So that's like, I think the biggest difference is.
I have a question, not on the list.
Yeah.
So there's a real trend, especially on TikTok when it comes to K-beauty, of what's actually popular in Korea.
Yeah.
What's really, that kind of thing. I have noticed when there are a few brands, Beauty of Joseon, for example, is one of those brands that often get pulled up as not actually being popular in Korea, but they're a K-beauty brand. And I feel like there are brands popping up that are made for a Western market, but they are based and made in Korea. Is that a growing trend? What's that all about?
Yeah. You notice something.
I notice things.
Well, honestly, yeah, I've seen the K-beauty market evolve over the past 12 years, because I've been doing Soko Glam for 12 years. That was at a time when literally I was in New York, a place where you would arguably say knows a lot of trends and is on top of the forefront of what's coming up. No one knew what K-beauty was. So I saw the whole evolution from no one knew K-beauty was to what it is today. And in the beginning, of course, Korean brands, they were not confident to enter the US market or the Western market, because they're just busy trying to capture the Asia market or really do well in their own home country. But now, fast forward, they know that really it's about getting the global attention. And I know a lot of Korean brands that have told me personally that their first target and market is actually the US.
Wow.
And so they'll gear their product names and everything for the US, or not just US, but Europe. And so it's been interesting to see that evolution, because 12 years ago when I first started, they would never dream of starting there first. And so some brands that I am testing and curating for the Soko Glam curation, when I see their deck of their whole strategy or their brand, they will tell me that they're actually more well known in other countries outside of Korea. So it is like a thing.
Is that because the Korean market is so competitive?
Yep.
And it's still not niche, but it's obviously growing in popularity. So it's not easier, but I guess they can grow quicker. I don't know, is that like what?
I think the Korean market is incredibly competitive and saturated. And then on top of it, there's so many success cases now outside of Korea that people or brands are having more confidence going out there. The market is bigger outside of Korea, period. As I said earlier, that you cannot survive on the Korean market alone. And honestly, the more popular product is abroad, I think Korean people will pay more attention to it too.
Oh, really?
Of course, they love Western things. Korean people love Western things.
I think people don't realize Eucerin is one of the most popular brands in Korea, and it's like they're really good, but not many people know them here. It's kind of weird,
It's so flipped, And Neutrogena and those types of brands
Oh, really?
are popular in Korea.
No
there's
way.
definitely a flip, and everything's so globalized now.
Yeah, true.
So everything's becoming all mushy and blurred.
Blending into one.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you obviously played a huge role in bringing K-beauty over to the US and basically anywhere that Soko Glam would ship, basically.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember this morning, Soko Glam was my first K-beauty sponsorship.
Really?
Remember the end of the year?
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. And it was when the Aqua toner was not newish, but really popular.
Yeah. Soko Glam actually brought Cosrx to the US market. We were the first, retailer to ever carry and introduce. I did a lot of videos for Cosrx to help my acne. And so it's so amazing to see how much it's grown. We were the first to talk about Beauty of Joseon. We first to carry Beauty of Joseon. We gave it an award. No one knew what Beauty of Joseon was. And I was looking at the bottle and I'd be like, it has no English. How are people going to read this? That's how new it was.
Yeah. How does it feel to see it be so popular now? Because we were saying it had its peak and then it kind of not flatlined, but it was doing well and it was here to stay, despite everyone calling it a fad. And now it's, with the rise of TikTok and skincare TikTok, it's so popular again.
Oh my gosh, TikTok has made Korean beauty resurge in just a matter of a couple months, I feel. But it's amazing to see. I think they've done such an amazing job with their products, but also just being able to get viral and
target the right people. Right?
Yeah, I feel like they have the formula down. I mean, not just Beauty of Joseon anymore.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
TirTir, Anua, all of them basically. Cosrx. There's also some campaign going on Cosrx and TikTok shop.
I saw something on TikTok recently where a creator in Asia said, just because you see this product all over TikTok doesn't mean it's actually doing well or it's actually popular. It's just that some of these Korean brands are just putting all their product out in the market and people think that it's popular, but I'm here to tell you that they actually are doing really well.
Oh, yeah.
They are actually selling a lot.
Yeah.
And it is actually,
Yeah.
you know, selling
Yeah.
like hotcakes.
It's so funny because when we're talking about, you know, that what's really popular in America, in Korea,
yeah.
I feel like people, they want to know that because of these made for Western brands, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. So people, because
yeah.
they're so interested in the Korean culture as well. I
Yeah.
guess like the beauty secret that is K-beauty.
Yes.
So I feel like people want to know what's really being used, you know, because I look for formulated in Korea now,
Right.
not just K-beauty.
The line has been blurred. There's a lot of Western brands that have caught on the fact that Korean manufacturers and cosmetic chemists are so advanced and so innovative that they're willing to make all their products in Korea. And yeah, they're passing off those innovations as their own.
Yeah.
So what is K-beauty now?
Yeah.
Everything's being so blurred. I mean, yes, let's hear what real Korean women and men are using, but at the end of the day, does it really matter? Because like now Korean people are using so many things in the West, and when I go traveling now, I remember back in the day, I'm so old now, but I used to be so excited to be like, I'm gonna go here and here because I can't get it. When I came to London 20 years ago, I was like, Topshop.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know, that was like such a big thing where I was like, I'm gonna buy everything here. Is that not a thing anymore?
It's not a thing anymore.
Oh my God.
They went bankrupt. That was a whole thing. Oh my
It
God.
even came to Soho, New York.
Yeah.
It had a huge
It was
store.
a huge thing. But
Aw.
they went bankrupt. Completely gone.
Oh my God, I was wondering, I was like looking around.
I
It
used
was,
to work in the Oxford Street one.
oh my God.
Yeah. They just didn't change with the times. They were still selling the same stuff for like 20 years. So.
That kind of shopping experience is gone because you don't
Yeah.
have to go anywhere.
True. When I went to Korea the most recent time, I remember walking around Olive Young, and even with just in the space of the year that I'd been there previously, not that I wasn't excited, but rather than being like, oh my God, I'm going to grab this, and this, I was like, I have that, because you can shop Olive Young around the world now, which is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's still nothing quite like going and actually buying it,
Yeah.
but within that year, I realized how
Globalized.
quickly it became so globalized, like more than it was previously. Let's finish on a positive note. I feel Korean beauty has made dermatologists actually have K-beauty to thank for this. I feel has made everyone take sun protection seriously.
Yes.
K-beauty, the industry is to thank for people wanting to use sunscreen, enjoying using sunscreen, but also understanding the importance of sunscreen and I guess the cosmetic ness of sunscreen. Like it protects you from the sun, but it also has all these other benefits, right?
Right, yeah.
So of course sunscreen is the most important step, right? And it always has been the most important step. But out of the whole possible 10 steps of a K-beauty routine, what are your must-dos? What steps do you do every single day?
I think the double cleanse is essential. It's something that you can't see with your naked eye. When you wash your face once, you gotta go in there twice. It not only prevents acne, I think people are like, oh, well, I don't really have acne, so I don't need to, but it's not just about acne. Yes, it will help clear up your skin for sure, which is usually the #1 skin concern I get when people talk to me, but it's also preventing premature aging.
Yes.
Because when you leave pollution, other impurities on your skin, you don't know that it's happening, but it actually creates free radical damage that leads to your collagen fibers collapsing, sagging of the skin. It accelerates your aging. I think people don't realize that because it's something you don't see happening. So double cleansing not only helps you with prevention of acne, it helps you with overall just not seeing fine lines, dark spots, everything. That, and then sunscreen, of course. Sunscreen is your best anti-aging cream.
Yeah. Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Any hard-hitting questions.
I don't know.
I'll try to answer them.
I don't know when I'm going to see you next,
I
but
know.
please come to New York next time.
Next year, New York for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So there we have it, a bit of a comprehensive look, is that the word? Into the world of Korean skincare, Korean beauty in general. Yes, it has its controversies. Yes, it's very slow to catch up with the rest of the world, considering it's been popular in the West for a long time now. But really, it's its skincare that shines through everything, changing people's skin, providing affordable, easy accessible, effective skincare that really has transformed people's skin, and in my case, our lives as well. I don't know where I would be today as far as this YouTube channel goes without K-beauty. I want to thank Charlotte so much for helping me with today's video. If you're here in the UK, you can check out Then I Met You at Space NK. I'll link that all down below. Let me know your opinions in the comments. You can watch more of the Behind the Beauty playlist here, some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.